Hi everyone, it's Elizabeth, aka Poetry in Motion, and this is the first of what I'd like to call the midweek roundup, where I'm going to talk about this week's installment of either The Journey On or Sanctuary, giving you a behind the scenes look at the writing process, the characters, and more. I'll also be taking questions for that week's update as well as for my other work. So, after you read this week's one shot, if you've got questions, put them in the comments on AO3 or DM me on Twitter at EAReams or here on Tumblr. So, with that being said, my first order of business is to say just thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for reading and supporting my work. Your comments and your just enjoyment for the story that I'm telling is so life-giving and so affirming to me as a writer, and I am so grateful to be giving you guys something that you enjoy and that you want to come back to. So from the bottom of my heart, just thank you. So this week I'm going to be talking about the first two one-shots in The Journey On, the first of which was Repairs. So pretty much as soon as I wrapped up in the aftermath, I knew I couldn't just stay away from Clan Jaren for 2 months. I couldn't do it. It wasn't gonna happen. And Repairs was already sort of formulating in my mind based off kind of an offhand comment Din makes in the last chapter of In the Aftermath. He tells Winta, I don't have any seatbelts yet, so you're gonna have to hold on to this bar. And then one user, Calico, commented, yeah, he's gonna have to get some seatbelts real soon. And so that kind of solidified the idea in my mind. Okay, we gotta make a one shot out of this. It felt like something that Din was going to want to get done immediately, so it became, my first one shot, and it became chronologically, it came right after they leave Sorgan. So I also took the opportunity in Repairs to show just how Winta has changed through this whole experience, and as well as an opportunity to explore how both Din and Omera are dealing with this whole new ball game. It wasn't so much an exploration of atmosphere as I thought it was going to be initially. I initially wanted to explore Braca and Din's former client in the Scrappers Guild. I wanted to nod to Jedi Fallen Order, but I decided that that was going to take away from the core of this pretty much whole series, which is dealing with this new clan that's forming around Din. So, Winta has sort of fundamentally changed through this very dramatic experience. Her innocence has kind of been beaten up. I mean, how could it not have been? And so her mechanism of defense for that is okay, now I gotta be tough, let's go beat up the bad guys so they don't touch us again. And I think that that kind of aggression catches both Din and Omera off guard, and it stirs up a lot, especially in Din. It stirs up a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings related to guilt, to his own upbringing, his own childhood trauma. But thing is, they're going to face this new phase in their lives together. And that's something I really wanted to emphasize there, especially at the end, when Din and Omera are alone in the cockpit and they kiss. I wanted to have that denouement of, yes, this sucked and it was terrible, but we're going to move on and get through this and help our kids get through this too. So that's what I have to say about Repairs. Now, Sleeping Arrangements 1 is a version of one of my favorite tropes. There was only one bed. So I decided to take an in medias race approach, drop in when Din and Omera are already in bed, give a nod to the actual mechanics of them getting there, but keep the focus on Omera's thoughts as she's laying there. That, again, was something really important that I took from my process writing Repairs, was that the description of the scene actually happening was nowhere near as important as describing Omera's interior life. So I've always found it really fascinating to explore a character's body language when they sleep, because really you can tell a lot about a person by how they sleep. It's a perfect expression of their subconscious. So for Din, it only made sense to me that he would sleep, on his back, ramrod straight, just kind of like a soldier, just in case he needs to jump up and grab his blaster. And since he sleeps on his back with his jaw kind of subconsciously clenched, I figured that he would snore a little. But as he dreams, he kind of loosens, his hands start unclenching, his head shifts towards Omera, which is a huge deal to the ending of this shot. Now, I've noticed that there's this pitfall in writing Omera that would be really easy to fall into, making her too understanding, too perfect. And I mean, she is kind and understanding and patient, but she's not perfect, you know? She wants, and she wants very deeply. I wanted to capture that sort of in between that she's feeling. She's clearly been harboring her feelings for Din since they met, so I'd assume for a few months before he returns and in the aftermath. So she's been holding these feelings in, but at the same time, she can't really express those feelings exactly how she wants to. She's totally understanding of Din's hesitation, and she's totally understanding of the fact that they're going to have to take this slow, but at the same time, she wants that love and affection and the tenderness that she hasn't had since her previous husband, Silen, passed away. It's a paradox that she's going to probably struggle with in future work as well as in this specific one shot. And with that, I'll tell you that this week's one shot explores the other side of the bed, literally, in Sleeping Arrangements 2. So, why was Din saying Omera's name, and why did his tone change when he called her Kiare? We'll find out on Saturday. here's to it. We'll find out on Saturday. So, again, thank you guys so much for listening to me ramble. I absolutely live for this stuff. Talking about my writing, talking about writing in general, storytelling in general. So if you have any questions about my writing or even just about me in general, feel free to comment them on AO3, DM me on Twitter. Again, that's at EAReams, or here on Tumblr. I might even do an about me kind of post to kind of introduce myself as a person outside of writing, so keep your eyes open. Thank you so much, and I will see you on Saturday at 4 Eastern for Sleeping Arrangements 2. Bye!